What's up, guys? Today we're going to be unboxing and checking out the Pixel 10a. This is an extremely minor upgrade here. I had a lot of friends and family members wanting me to look at this phone and test it out. They're having carrier deals on this phone, but it's almost like the same exact phone from the 9a. So of course, do not upgrade if you have a 9a. It is like I said, almost the same phone. This is really for people with an older phone who maybe are getting a carrier deal, or people who don't necessarily want to maybe go into the old flagship marketplace. It's stuff like that, you know. So I'm curious to see what they did. They low-key kind of pull like the you remember the iPhone 13 to 14 kind of upgrade where they use the same chip. Like, I guess Google pulled that. This is the, I guess, blue color. And yeah, very pretty. So I really like this blue. It's not super dark, and this is completely flat now. I remember there used to be a ring around it. I have to double check, but it's like completely flat. So I know a lot of people who really like the completely flat phones. A lot of phones, they do that wobble thing when you type on it. Another thing that I really love about the build quality and hardware is that this is really comfortable to hold in the hand. It's really smooth in the palm. IP68 dust and water resistant. This is actually a plastic back, which is something that I don't mind. It's got that matte finish, and honestly, because of the metal sides, it still feels really premium. So I would say that the plastic back is something that I don't really care about. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the hardware. It's not a heavy phone, 183 grams, so you know, it's not super heavy. But yeah, let's go ahead and I'll show you guys the rest of the phone. Also, I forgot, you get the SIM ejection tool and your Type-C to Type-C cable. All right, so let's talk about the screen quality on the 10a. I think it's a pretty good screen here for the most part. It's a 6.3-inch display, so it's not, you know, super massive, but it doesn't necessarily feel, you know, really small, which is good. It's a OLED panel, 120 hertz, very good outdoors in direct sunlight. We're talking about 3000 nits peak brightness, so very easy to see this display. And honestly, looking up close, it looks pretty good. It's a very sharp looking panel here. It does have 422 for the PPI. Now, an issue that people have with this phone is that, you know, the bezels are definitely a little bit thicker. They are even all around, which is good, but this is something I thought they would address with this version, but it's not like a thing that's super serious or anything like that. The screen quality, like I said, is pretty good on here, but yeah, it does make it look a little bit cheaper for sure from the front. But overall, does it affect screen quality? No, it's still a very nice, smooth panel. But yeah, I would have liked to seen, you know, some slimmer bezels for sure. But overall, I think the display is perfectly fine. I don't have an issue with it, honestly. Now, despite them using the older processor here, which here is the Geekbench scores, and here are kind of like your reference point, it's not really a bad processor at all. I don't have overheating issues with this processor. It's able to handle, you know, your normal AI tasks, functions pretty well. So everything is loading up pretty well. And I've just never had any issues with performance with the 9A. So this has 128 gigs of internal storage, 8 gigs of RAM. I feel like something they should have updated was the UFS. It's 3.1 here, but I think they should have went with 4. And, you know, just kind of like small upgrades that would be pretty good. So things that they should have done, they're not doing. But here are the Geekbench, or not the Geekbench scores, but the 3D Mark scores you guys can see. So I think the phone performs really well. Just your daily tasks, how I think most people would use it. Most people who are like Pixel users, they're typically not like hardcore gamers anyway. But yeah, the processor is fine. I don't necessarily have any issues. Like I said, it loads everything up really smoothly, like the multitasking, animations. We get 7 years of major OS updates as well too. And all of your AI features are going to be here with the Pixel as well. Like I was telling you guys about circle to search, and you have your call screening, and Google has a bunch of AI features baked into the camera here that you can kind of mess with. You got stuff in here like the magic eraser. You have AI calling features. You also have AI like weather summaries and stuff like that. So Google has like the AI just all through the phone here. So I think it works really well. I don't necessarily have an issue with it. But yeah, so let's see if we have any difference with PUBG. Maybe we have like 90 frames still. Typically these tensor chipsets aren't really optimized for the popular titles. That's why a lot of gamers kind of go with like Samsung, iPhone, stuff like that. So we still have 60 frames on the 10A here. So I would say like playing games, casually, PUBG, Call of Duty, stuff like that, it works fine. I don't necessarily have an issue with it. Like I said, it's pretty smooth for the most part. So if you are just trying to come in here, play a few matches of PUBG, Call of Duty, you're not going to get like crazy performance drops and overheating. It does a pretty good job. Like I said, these chipsets are typically geared towards like the AI functions and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as like casual gaming, you can definitely do that on the Pixel, and it's not really a big deal. These speakers at max volume. So the speakers actually sound pretty good, and the good thing about this phone being completely flat is you get that nice kind of amplified tone, where most phones, since they don't like actually sit up or they don't sit flat, so you won't get to like that increased speaker volume. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I think the speakers sound pretty good. They have a really good amount of bass. I can hear the low notes of the bass. Overall, really good balanced quality speakers on here. So I would say speakers are solid, and I think it's like you definitely gotta give it +1 for being able to get louder when you set it down. Another thing here is the optical fingerprint scanner. I haven't had an issue with this one. I think the animation is also pretty nice and pretty smooth. Like, it's of course not going to be as fast as the one in the 10 Pro, the ultrasonic. The ultrasonic, you can kind of tap them like that. But this one, you just slightly have to like just hold it a little bit. It's really not like a big deal like people might think. You can use your face unlock as well too. So most people buy Pixel phones for the cameras. I'm a huge fan of the cameras. I think Google really does image processing really well when it comes to colors and skin tones. And I'm a big fan, so I just really like how the shots come out. I think even the video looked really good on the 10A here as well. But like I said, nothing has really changed from the Pixel 9a. We're getting basically the same camera setup here, and it's a 48 megapixel standard, 13 megapixel ultra wide. We can zoom in to 8 times, and then for video we can zoom in to only 3 times. There's no dedicated telephoto lens. We do have 4K 30 and a 13 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 30. And yeah, guys, I think the overall pictures and video, I think still look pretty good. There's a lot of detail in the shots. Colors look really good. Low light photography also is going to look really good. This is going to take, I still think this takes on par photos with like a flagship phone, an iPhone 17 Pro Max. Just looking at these pictures and comparing it to those pictures, this still takes really good photos in my opinion. Great detail, great color, and really good consistency between the ultra wide. Where the phone will be a mid-range phone is there's no telephoto lens, so zooming in it can just lose a bunch of detail, look really grainy, but besides that, the pictures and photos look great. Since they basically did nothing to the battery, I'm assuming the screen on time is going to be pretty much the same as the 9A, which is going to be really good, and it charges a bit faster, which, I mean, I don't even know if you could barely tell the difference because the bump up was so minimal. 30 watts for the charging, 10 watts for the wireless charging, and it's got a 5100 milliamp hour battery, so pretty big battery, but yeah, you'll pretty easily get like 6 hours plus of screen on time, all day battery life really easily on this phone. If it's, like I said, it's basically a 9A, right? So I would say it makes more sense to get a 9A unless you are getting this on some type of carrier deal where your carrier is like giving it to you, because if you were like looking for like an actual mid-range phone, the 9A, yeah, it'll continue to drop in price. So you guys can see $429, and I would say it needs to drop in price a little bit more. I still think that's way too close to the 10A if you're buying this phone unlocked. I would go in the used refurbished marketplace, but I know people might not want to go in the used refurbished marketplace. Yeah, so this is 500, 429. I don't really like that gap, honestly, because I would just get the 10A for the extra year software updates if I'm honestly gonna, uh, keep the phone for that long. But yeah, this doesn't. I would prefer to see this $400, if not a little bit cheaper. But I mean, it just makes sense to get a 9A if you're getting the phone unlocked. You're looking for like a newer mid-range phone. If not, you're getting it on a carrier. It's a really good phone. I don't necessarily have an issue with it. So what do you guys think? What do you guys not like, or what do you like about the device?